All right, hey, what's up, guys? Um, I think it was maybe I don't know a couple of weeks ago, right? I was literally having a conversation with a so-called Christian woman, right? I should have recorded the conversation, but so you can really understand what they actually believe in what they putting out here, right? You know, it was actually about it wasn't a fight or nothing. It wasn't even an argument. It was just a conversation that we were having, right? And she was literally saying that there was this war, right? There was this war in heaven, and how Satan was cast out of heaven. And it's like talking to a wall. Then I was reading these scriptures to her, right? And they really don't have any, you know, as of this context to what the scripture's even talking about, right? It's like there's like zero context. It's like what they do, and they take a couple of scriptures out of context, and then what they do, I'm gonna explain. They take a scripture, right? This one little scripture out, and then they relay it to the whole paragraph of the whole chapter, right? Not understanding it's talking about something else. You know, okay. Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and read the scripture to you. This is what our conversation was about, right? And it was literally about the war in heaven, right? Now, okay. Now, uh, let me go ahead and start reading here. This might take a while, so it says here now this scripture is actually called the woman and the dragon, right? Now, wake up now. Let's let's use our common sense right now. Okay, the woman and the dragon. Huh, look at this for yourself. You can see it for yourself. Look at it. So it's called the woman and the dragon. Oh, unlike everybody else, I show you what I'm reading. Okay, it's Revelations chapter 12. Listen, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, me understanding that the 12 stars does represent the church of Israel. Okay? And she being with child cried traveling in birth, and pain to be delivered. Now, so this is Christ being born that this is speaking about. Okay? And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. Why is this dragon red? And why is the Bible saying it's a red dragon? Why are we not understanding this red dragon? Red dragon, red dragon, red dragon, red dragon. That I know that. See right now, that's one bell should be clicking right. Listen to what I just said. Red dragon, red dragon, red dragon. Keep that in your mind, red dragon. Okay, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon, remember now, this dragon's red, stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, which means he was ready to be born. The child was going to be born. Okay, and ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Wait a minute. As soon as it was born, this red dragon is fit to devour her child, right? As soon as it be born. What is this referring to, people? So this right here alone should tell you that this war in heaven is not talking about Satan fighting against the Most High and rebelled and got cast out of heaven. Okay, now look, check this out. For to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, look, guys. We must remember now. King Herod was looking to kill Christ when he was born. Okay. Now, why is King Herod, right, saying that the Bible is saying he was a red dragon? Okay, because he come from the biblical descendants of the what? Of the Edomites or the Idumeans. The Idumeans are red. It's just common sense. Okay. Now, let me read on. Okay. Stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth, forth a man child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. So she's bringing forth the Messiah, okay, which is Devar, to rule all nations. Now, so the only way that the dragon could stop this from happening, right, was to do what? Was to kill the child. Okay. Now, unlike these other so-called Israelites, I can actually admit if I'm wrong about anything. So, if I'm wrong about something, I can admit it and apologize for it. So, but anyway, let me keep on reading. Now, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, and they should feed her there 203 days. Now, hold on now. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was a place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon, remember now, the great dragon, remember now, this dragon is talking about, this dragon was actually, it was a red person, so-called Idumean, was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan was deceived the whole world. And he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay, I'll keep reading on, but give me a minute to, let me, now let's stop here. Hold on, I'm going to backtrack a little. Let's go back to Revelation 12, chapter 7 again. Now, let's concentrate right there. And it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Now, okay. Now, if you can notice how they take this scripture right here in they take the scripture chapter 7, right, and they twist it to make you believe that Satan's actually, that he's fighting against the most, he's fighting against the power of Israel, Hayah. So if he's fighting against Hayah, right, and again he got kicked out of heaven, right. So what you do is, right, you go into the book of Job, right. I guess you go into the book of Job. It's Job chapter 2, right. Let's see what Job is saying here in chapter 2. Hold on, give me a second here. Okay. Now, when you go into the book of Job, chapter 2, right, it says here, and there was a day, I'm sorry, let me show you where I'm at. You can see, nothing I'm saying here is made up. You can see it for yourself if you get it. This is Job, chapter 2. It says, again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Hayah, and Satan came also among them to present himself before Hayah. Now, if Satan was so-called cast out of heaven, right, how's he coming before the throne of Hayah? How? But he was supposedly cast out. Look at it for yourself. Right there. Again, there was a day when the Son of God came to reveal himself before the Lord, before Hayah, and Satan came also among them to present himself before Hayah. Now I'm confused. So how was Satan supposedly cast out of heaven? But he's when the Most High Hayah called, where he go? He came right before the throne, just like the rest of the angels did. And listen, and Hayah said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered Hayah and said, from going to and from in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Look for yourself. And the Lord said and Hayah said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered Hayah and said, from going to and from and in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Okay. Now, how was Satan supposedly kicked out of heaven when God summoned all the angels to come before him, right? It was God ordered them, called them to come before him. So, but Satan came also? I'm confused. Now, so that's like, look, that right there is called multiple strikes right now against the so-called Christian doctrine, saying that there was a so-called war in heaven, and Satan was kicked out of heaven. There's just so many strikes right now. So now let's concentrate right on what John saw here. Remember now, in the Bible, whatever, right? Let me go back first to what. Let me go back to the scripture first, to just to put back in your mind what's going on here. And go back to Revelations. Real fast. Okay. Remember now, put this back in your mind. And there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Remember, the dragon was red. Remember now, that's telling you that the dragon is an actual man. It's not no actual dragon. It's like it's a nation of people who he's fighting against, right? The dragon is a man. The man represents a nation of people, which are the so-called biblical Edomites or Idumeans. And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. So now, I'm sorry, let's go back here. I'm sorry, let's start off. Listen, and there was one in heaven, check this out. Michael and his angels, Michael and his angels, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So, so basically, the scripture. See, when you read this right, and you think that these are angels, right? Like fighting against each other, right? These and that's why when you let me then it makes you go, ding, wait a minute, these are angels fighting against each other. And Satan's angels lost the battle and they were kicked out of heaven, right? That's what you assume is going on here, but you understand that this dragon, this red dragon, is the actual man. It represents the Idumeans, or the so-called Edomite nation, who are physically in power right now. Okay, they are in power. They rule over the earth, right? So this is the dragon that the scripture is talking about here. Okay, this dragon, this red dragon, is the ruler of the earth. Look, the earth represents heaven. Okay, I'm just listen. Okay, it's like when you say that. Okay, the white man's heaven is our hell. I'll put it to you in that way. So what does that mean? In our kingdom to come, our heaven is going to be His hell. Okay, basically, God, it's all going to reverse on. It's all going to be reversed on this Idumea. Now, I'm not trying to go too deep here. So we got to understand, right? That hold on one second. Let me pause it. I'm going to pause this for a minute. Okay, but anyway, so these were angels fighting, right? So what did John truly see here? And remember now, Revelation means to reveal. So John is seeing something here. What is he seeing? Remember now, this is like 2,000 years ago. Now we must understand, right? There are no planes. There was no military jets flying overhead here, right? There was no listen. Let me say this again. There was no military planes flying overhead. So what was he seeing here? First, let me identify what John was seeing on the right hand side, fighting against, the left hand side. Let me prove to you what John saw on the right hand side, fighting against these. I'll prove it first. Hold on. Let me go somewhere here. Here we go. Now, this is what John saw fighting against these angels on the left hand side. What did John see here? John said, "The church of God." I'm sorry. Let me go here. You go to Psalm 68, chapter 17. It said, "The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels." The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. So, John is seeing these chariots, right, of God, fighting against what? What is he seeing? The chariots of God are these UFOs that these military commanders are afraid of. These are UFOs that John is seeing. Look, guys, we must understand, right, that John knew about the UFOs. He knew what those were. He knew that those were angels in these vessels, right? John understood this, right? So therefore, in that time, he identified everything as what? As angels or clouds. He didn't know that those were, military jets fighting. He had no idea. You got to think about in that time. Go back to that era of that time. You can see what's going on. The only thing that can be during that time, as of 2,000 years ago, flying around would be UFOs. Okay, use your brain for once. Okay, those were UFOs fighting. Okay, now hold on one second here. Okay, now let's go to the. Oh, hold on. Now, let me go here first. Now, we must understand, right, that the plane, right, was invented, right. Listen, the plane was. Remember, now I'm going to the left-hand side now. That these planes were invented December 17th, 1903. 1903. So, how could John be seeing, right, anything else, right? He identified these planes as what? As angels fighting against one another. It says here, matter of fact, I'll let you see where I'm reading here. I'm not going to read all of this. You can pull this up for yourself. It says that the Wright brothers inaugurated the Aero 8 with the world's first successful flights of a powered, heavier than air flying machine. The Wright Flyer was the product of a sophisticated 4-year program of research and development conducted by Wilbur and Orville Wright beginning in 1899. After building and testing 3 full-size gliders, the Wright's first powered airplane flew at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina on December 17, 1903, making a 12-second flight traveling 36 miles. Now, I'm not going to read all this. You can look this up for yourself. So, what was John seeing if the airplane was not invented yet? Okay, so back in his time, he was seeing angels fighting against each other. Because John didn't know that those were actual military jets fighting against a high-odds host, which is armies. John didn't know that this was going on. He didn't know. He knew that there was a war between these two parties, right? But he classified them as what? As what he knew back in his time as angels. Okay? Now, are you for real? Throughout Okay, so now I was like, remember now we've identified, right, that John. Oh wait, hold on one second. I'm tripping. 1 second here. See, this is what John saw fighting against, the Most Highs, or just Hayah. You know, he saw these fighting against the Most High. This is what John saw. Okay, think about it. This is what he saw: military aircrafts, and all these aircrafts are gonna bond together and fight against the Most High's, chariots or Most High's angels. This is what John saw. Take a good look at it. Hold on. Let's get it up here real fast so you can get the idea. Now, go back again and read what this is saying here. It says here, sit down somewhere. Okay, it says here, and there, and I'm back to in Revelation 12 verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels. Listen, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels. So this dragon, this red dragon, check this out. This red dragon has angels. Interesting, huh? What would his angels look like? This is his angels right here. Listen, I'm gonna read this and leave it right here. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels. In his angels. Interesting, huh? So, how is this? So, what John saw, right, was these angels, right, of the so-called Idumeans or the so-called Edomites, right, fighting, Michael and his chariots, right, which are UFOs. Okay, it's not going to end well for the United States military or any other military. Okay, it's not going to end well. So now we actually just must identify. I'm just trying to let you guys identify and understand what's going on or what when that these are actual military jets that that in drones whatever fighting against his the Most High and his chariots. Okay, and well, trust me, fellas, it's gonna be a throttle. Okay, I'm almost done here. Let me do one more thing here, then I can end this real fast. There we go. Now, this is another of what this is what Zechariah saw, right? Remember that Zechariah, he actually saw this. Zechariah, you go to Zechariah chapter 5. So you guys See where I'm reading here. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked. Behold, a flying roll. Flying roll is a flying saucer, a UFO. So this is what Zechariah saw. What was the purpose of these UFOs? And he said unto me, What seest thou? So the angels let me tell you, the angel is asking, Zechariah, what does he see? And he said, look, he looked, and behold, a flying, and he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, this is Zechariah, I see a flying roll. And and I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, Listen, this is the purpose of these, they call them UAPs. The purpose of these so-called UAPs and UFOs. Then said he unto me, This is what the angel said to Zechariah. Since you guys don't understand, this is a conversation between two people, or one deity and one person. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth should be cut off, as on this side. Now, we already know that the so-called Idumeans, right, so-called Edomite race, right, has stolen the whole earth. They made everybody slaves and working for pennies and stuff like that. Should be cut off on this side, according to it. Everyone that swerves should be cut off as on that side, according to it. I will bring forth, I will bring it forth, said Hayah of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Listen, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. This is what those chariots are doing. They're entering right into the earth's atmosphere, because this earth is full of thieves. Okay, the so-called Idumeans, the so-called bankers, the so-called rulers of this world. Okay, enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him. Listen, that swears falsely by my name. I'm going to say this again, that swears falsely by my name. So what is the Most High's name? So whoever is swearing falsely by calling him Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah, and not calling him by the name that was given, that was given to the Israelites back in Exodus chapter, I guess it's chapter 3, I think it's chapter 3. But the name that was given was Hayah. So if you are calling another name falsely, you finna get it too. But anyway, I'm done here. I like to give all praises to the only true power of Israel, the black God that delivered us out of Egypt. Hayah, Ha Debar. Peace.